Hello and welcome to our place in Sicily. Today I'm taking you on another home tour here in Piedemonte at Neo. Let's take a look. I'm going to try to get back far enough from this house. And this is our subject today. Now it does have two entryway doors. You wouldn't have to. You could make one a Juliet balcony, sort of like the neighbor here has. So you could open the doors, but it would be clear where the opening was. You could make this side room a little studio, like you have like little Dutch doors. As I said, we're in this tiny little house with great possibility. I've been walking by this every day as I walk to and from my palazzo. And if you're new to this channel, please feel free to subscribe and you can watch the process of us renovating our 31-room abandoned palazzo on the slopes of Mount Etna. But today I'm showing you this sweet, little, perfect, tiny gem. All right, it's in rough shape, but I see great possibility. I'm gonna walk you through, and at the end we'll talk about what I think are some good possibilities for this. So this is our little house that we wanted to show you. It is little, it's small, it is, I think it has some great potential. This room we'd be entering into could be the salone, sort of just a big room to enter. Probably was like a salone. This building was likely just a deposito or garage when it was first built and then made into a house. So this room is long and narrow. I could see sort of a bathroom being put in there and then connecting the salone to this or making this an office. It's a very interesting spot. You can see up to the roof. There's a possibility of adding another story onto here, but you could also perhaps make a roof terrace, which would be so lovely. Okay, so these are our first two rooms as we enter. And then we go through what is like a hallway. It's like too big for a hallway, but too small for a room. And in sort of American terms, we wouldn't want to walk through a bedroom, but we could also make this open or make this a central bathroom into a more grand space. This is, by the way, not that any house is. This is not at all square. There's almost no 90-degree angles. Okay. And this is how I can tell that it was most likely a deposito. So if we turn and look this way, we have this arch, which would have been used for structure. And we can see that over here. So usually if you can see that, that means that this was just like an open storage space. Which is usually what happens on the ground floor. So again, you don't have to go very far. I mean, I would bet at the highest it's 6.5 feet. It does get a little lower. Let me show you over here. It's actually nice that you can see up to the roof. If you haven't already seen, you can see how they would put a ceiling in here. It would be very easy. So my thinking is maybe the other side of this wall, I would make it upstairs, maybe a little bathroom and a bedroom. And on this side, I would make it flat and make it a open terrace, because I'm going to show you the view in a minute. But let me orient you. So this is facing the front, and this is a deposito. You can see the arch cut into two. And this is a lovely little space. Now, guys, you have to look past the 17 colors that the walls were painted. You're obviously starting to do work in here. But this, you could lay in bed if this was your bedroom. Oh, and you really can't see her right now, but that's Etna. She's very cloudy. We'll see if we can see her from the backyard. Okay, so that's out there. This house would have so much charm. Okay, now, so that's sort of the main part of the house. And then we get to a long hallway, which we can't get into from this side. So we're going to get to it from the outside. So you'll see we're going to hit a kitchen, and then in the distance there you can see a bathroom. It looks like it's further than it is. This is a small house, and I'm just using a wide angle to be able to see it all. And this would take us out to what seems like, oh, this is just a little courtyard with some scaffolding here. And there's the wall of the neighbor's yard into, oh, it keeps going, it keeps going. I've already seen this, but like, this is what is a lovely little window. By the way, you don't need to keep these grills anymore. You can use them if you want for decorative purposes, but things have really changed here in Italy, in Sicily, in this town, stuff like that. So we're gonna go look at that garden in a second. You can see there's roof tiles here. None of them look like they're in great shape, so probably just nobody has been able to put them away. It does look like at some point there was the idea to have someone work on this space. Okay, so that's where we just came from, and then we walked around the outside here. This was where the kitchen was, which makes sense that this feels like a little piece of maybe enamel. Maybe this is where the stove or the sink was, likely wood fired or something. They've covered up with some stucco, so I can't like do all my detective work that I would do normally. But yeah, we look like we have water pipes over here, so there was likely sink and cabinet. I would say for this size house, this is actually a really good sized kitchen. A really good sized kitchen. There's so many things and ideas running through my head right now. And then this is the bathroom. Now, not a giant bathroom by any means, but that tub is huge. It's not just this is like one of the biggest tubs I think I've ever seen in an abandoned house. Wow. Fascinating. And a sink and a very gross toilet. But yeah, this is a really good, it's got a nice window out of it. Like this can stay, I mean, not this particular thing, but you could have this bathroom, you could put in a stand-up shower and have even more room, or keep this one as the bathroom with the bathtub, put in a second sort of maybe powder room in the front. But now we're going to leave our kitchen. I just think this is so charming. And it has to have a long hallway because if you remember, as we walked back, it gets narrow there. So there's not really an option to make this bigger unless you perhaps closed that off and just left the house this way, which you could totally do. I think it's just nice to be able to leave the house in two different places. Okay, so watching where we're walking. Here is our backyard. You even have a little sort of a deposito, a little storage area. You'd make this a little, garden shed of sorts, storage shed. It's not terribly tall, but it has gutters on it. Let's let you take a look at the roof here. So this is the neighbor's house. This could be your house, all the way up there and all the way up the side there. I mean, just kind of screams adorable here. Okay, so I would work. And I believe that this fence, because it's leaning in, is probably the fence of this place. So I would definitely change this out. I might even take it off in the top because it's not really needed, and there's a beautiful garden next to it. So this has a little, you could have a little sink outside. You could have a little outdoor kitchen here. And it just keeps going. Do we feel like going all the way down here? Like maybe not all the way, but let me take you a little further. They've obviously set up a little table. Perhaps there was an altar, perhaps that was used in a little kitchen. But what I'm not showing you and making clear is that is Mount Etna. And you can only see the foot of it. But on a non-cloudy day, that is the biggest and best view here in Sicily. And we butt up to some beautiful garden, some more land, another garden over here. So lovely neighbors, great spaces. And actually it's like a secret little garden, which you never know you're going to find behind these places. Not all these places have it, but this is pretty special. So that's how we'd go back in the house, but I want to take you back the way we came. That is that window we looked out from what could be the bedroom. Oh my gosh. It's just kind of fantastic. Could you imagine laying in bed there, looking out into your garden? You could have some jasmine growing on this. And, the kitchen's a good size, but you could bring your kitchen here. Or you could make this all open with stairs up to a terrace. This is where you could put the powder room, maybe a coat closet, or open this all up. That's Francesca, a realtor outside. Even the doors, you could keep them if you wanted to keep this division. They're cute. Both have that sort of, look at that grand door. That door is very tall. That's a great presence. I'm going to shut that for you just so, see if I can shut it. Nope, I can't shut it. It's stuck, as things happen here. All right, so let's go outside and take a look at it from the front. So there is a possibility of adding a garage, and there's more garden back there, and basically just one door in between. But that's a nice thing to have. This part of the property and the extra garden that we haven't seen is owned by multiple family members all over the world, so slightly more difficult, but the house we're talking about just has one owner. So let's talk a little bit about what the possibilities could be.
So let me orient you here first. So what you're seeing on the left side are those two front doors. And then we have our sort of bedroom one. It looks like this might have been divided when you look at the plans into two pieces before. And then we see sort of the bedroom two, which looks all the way straight down the property. I'm not sure how far the property goes because the plans that I received don't have that, but that's about what I'm assuming from being there in person. You also see from the front, we have the salone, the parlor, the first room, that little spare room, which right now, without doing anything, could be an office. And then sort of the grand room, which can be the family room, the hallway to the kitchen, and then of course, we have that big bathroom. So this is where we stand with the plans as is. So if you wanted to come in and just put a new kitchen back in, revamp the bath, and do nothing else, this is what you'd end up with. So now let's take a look at what I think we could do if we did a little work. Now let's look at the fun possibilities. All right, so first you would come in the room that I'm calling the salone on the previous floor plan. And that room plus the little one next to it that I also said could become a bathroom would become open up to the family room. On the left side, the room that's there would become a little shorter, which when I look at some of the original plans that this came from, it looks like there was a little room in there anyway. So we make the bedroom back to a size it was before and add a little bathroom. Now, part of why I'm doing this, you can see where I've pointed to the arch, is there's that big arch and I want to showcase that. So we're going to take down the arch filler and really show off the arch and build this center staircase. So we're going to use part of the kitchen, part of the big open room, and we're going to use part of the whole sort of back bedroom that had the beautiful window that looked out to Etna, and now we're going to make it so everybody can look out at Etna, and that's going to be a kitchen that sort of wraps around the back of the stairs. We could probably reconfigure this to be able to fit a table, but for now we're just using the sort of peninsula to put the chairs in there for seating. This is not a big house, so I think that is fine. Now we have to walk down a skinny hall, if you remember from our tour, and the room back there was the kitchen. I would turn this into an office/guest room. If you really wanted it to be separate, you could even put something in that little hallway so that it was storage or something, and you would go out of the building to go into this office guest room. But you can go in there, and also I would make that the bathroom for just that guest room, or just a secondary, bathroom downstairs. We're calling it bath 2. Now we're going to head upstairs, and if you can see in this picture through the rafters, you can see that we have height. We're not going to be able to take it from the front to the back of the building. We're just going to sort of take out the middle. So if you're looking at the top picture, where the diagonal lines are, that is part that we would just leave. Roof, maybe there could be storage in there. I'm not sure, but it would be closed. And the stairs would wrap around, sort of like a big giant circular stairs. And as they came up, they would enter onto sort of a landing. And from this landing, you could go out to the terrace. So the public wouldn't have to go through your bedroom or into the bath. So this is technically an ensuite bath, because nobody's going to be up there unless it's you, but also the public or guests could use that. I guess not the public. Guests could use that bathroom. And then the rest of the roof would be made flat. So there'd be a little slope toward the backside, and then it would come down with windows from the main bedroom looking out onto the terrace. Over the walkway part of the house below, we make a walkway to a pergola, and that pergola would give you a little shade on the hot summer days as you're looking out at Mount Etna. That's our tour for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're intrigued. What do you think? Is that place for you? Until next time, ciao!